This is coming from Grummz regarding the marathon art director. This guy's name is Joe Cross. And he said they yeeted the marathon art director. This is the right call, but it won't be enough to save the game or address the studio culture that has stolen art 5 times now, which, yikes. Uh, just a quick refresher if you've been living under a rock. Bungie, purchased by Sony for, I believe, $3.7 billion, was caught stealing art again. On top of many other transgressions that are abhorrent in the game industry, plagiarism being probably the worst one of them, which it typically is. And they can't seem to catch a break when it comes to creating a game with originality. And that usually comes down to the employees that you hire, with people that are not actual developers. They are activists and they are lazy, and they find cheap ways to actually get the talented stuff done. Something is wrong with the studio that's deeper than one person. And this originally comes from Marathon Bulletin. And let me bring it up here. It says Marathon Bulletin. Julia Nardin, previously narrative director, is now the creative director on Bungie's Marathon. She took on the new role in May 2025. Now, I have a question with this situation here, because when you go to LinkedIn and you see Bungie, she's been there for going on almost 6 years. And she just recently switched from narrative director to creative director. And my question for Grummz, and I replied to him because this situation is an active situation we're trying to figure out. I said, do we have confirmation that Joseph Cross, which is that guy, who is the art director, or was the art director, is gone? He's listed as the art director, and this is for creative director. Not saying they couldn't use her to replace, but just looking for clarification, if any. His LinkedIn hasn't been updated yet. So when you go to his LinkedIn, this is him here, and it says franchise art director, Marathon, October 2019 to present, going on 6 years as well. And this is an art director, which is different from a creative director. But yet Grummz is saying they yeeted the art director. I don't know if they did. He still says he works there, and the person that he's talking about is a different position. So I'm confused. I'm very confused at the situation. But then we have this post from Insider Gaming, and it says Marathon brought on a new creative director last month. Marathon experienced a turbulent period last month with art theft issues. I mean, turbulent period? That's like saying a nuclear bomb was a turbulent period for a country. I mean, like, technically, I guess, yeah, it's turbulent, all right. But I think there are stronger words you could use for what has happened to Bungie. It seems they also hired a new creative director in May 2025. Marathon recently faced a massive controversy with Bungie artists using unauthorized art of part of an independent artist in the game. The company acknowledged and apologized for the art theft concerns. However, it seems morale has been in free fall since this issue. It seems the developers have appointed a new creative director to steer the ship in the right direction. Marathon appoints Julia Nardin as creative director. Spotted by Marathon Bolton on X, Julia Nardin has updated their LinkedIn profile to reveal the new role at Bungie. Nardin started as a narrative lead in 2019, worked on Destiny, and became the narrative director in 2022 for Marathon and Destiny, The Final Shape. In May 2025, Nardin was promoted as the creative director for Marathon. Recently, there was also a report about Marathon canceling all planned paid marketing, which I covered as well. That was Colin Moriarty, Sacred Symbols, was the one with that rumor. And he's pretty on point with those. When he says something like that, that's typically accurate. Which suggested the game could either be facing a delay or could be canceled altogether. Which, could you imagine? With the hundreds upon hundreds of millions of dollars allegedly poured into Marathon already, to just cancel it before even launching it. Ooh, oof. You thought Concord was bad. At least Concord launched. With the company appointing a new creative director so close to its expected release, it suggests that we could receive an announcement for the delay soon. However, players should wait for official communication from Bungie to know for sure. In other news, Bungie will work towards nerfing Marathon's aim assist in the next alpha patch. What are your thoughts on Marathon bringing on a new creative director last month? Let us know. Again, this story doesn't say anything about Joseph Cross leaving or Julia Nardin replacing Joseph Cross. And Grummz never replied to me. I also DM'd him and tagged him, and I was like, hey, bro, just trying to get clarification on maybe, because sometimes Grummz has insider info, but maybe he misunderstood this too. Because when I saw this, I like to trust but verify. And when I see they yeeted him, I was like, oh, damn. And then I read this and I was like, wait, narrative director? That's not art director. And then the first thing I did was go to search his profile, and it's like, oh, still active, still says art director. And then went to search her, and it's like, oh, she's updated to narrative director. Those potentially are two different positions at the company. So I don't know. I don't know what the situation is with Marathon. I would imagine that if this guy was not let go yet, that is probably the next foot to drop, or the next shoe to drop, or however you say it. I would think that based off of this screenshot, which captures everything so perfectly for Joseph Cross, I think he knows it. Those of you that watched this, what even was it besides a shit show? The podcast, the interview, the conversation that he had with the community when they were supposed to go live talking about what was the features and stuff with Marathon, and then the whole scandal broke with plagiarism the night before, and they were scrambling to figure out what to say, and they came on with a pre-written statement being like, yeah, we understand it was employee that's no longer with us, conveniently, of course. And we are taking all steps and precautions to make sure this doesn't happen again. I'm like, no, this ain't going to work with the community. You can't just be like, yeah, whoopsie, we just stole everything, including some people are alleging not just the art, but also the music from that same artist that they borrowed heavily from. It's very sketch. And I was the first one and the only one that I've heard so far. Maybe other people have said this as well, and I just missed it. But I have postulated that was a lie, and that the person that actually stole it could have very well been this guy. And he's trying to pawn it off on, someone who's not there anymore. Because this is the guy where the buck stops with him with approving the art direction. And if it was someone else, first off, he's the one that's accountable for that. But secondly, you don't get all this stuff going into a game and then just the art director just blanketly approving everything without having some hand in it. That doesn't typically happen. I see Float Like on Kick says, why not just hire the original artist? That was a point that you, me, and a number of other people have have stipulated they should have done. But I think it's a bigger problem than just that. Because what if it's a girl? What if she doesn't want to work for them? What if she's like, no, I don't want anything to do with you guys. I'm pissed at you. What if she's like, oh, fuck you, I'm suing you? Like, it's not just a simple, hey, sorry we stole everything from you. Would you like a job with us? That way we can wash our hands from this unfortunate situation we've created. And I said this back on SNH when we first talked about this, when this whole plagiarism scandal first broke, that I was saying that she is like, this is like winning a lottery ticket, like or winning the lottery, and this is a winning lottery ticket, like to cash it in. This is millions of dollars. Now Hypnotic was pushing back saying, no, it's a few $100,000 type thing. I'm like, I don't know. I feel like this is millions, because this game cannot release without that artist being satisfied. And that artist might be holding out for a big payday. They cannot move forward. Like, legally, they cannot move forward with releasing this game without that artist being appeased at all. So it's almost like they've reached an impasse right now. And this guy, this Joseph Cross, if he has not been fired yet, which again, I could not find confirmation of that anywhere. I looked, trust me. If he's not fired yet, he will be, in my opinion. And in fact, I'm kind of surprised we haven't heard anything yet. I thought this would be the first thing that would happen after that interview conference that they had, with the look that he had on his face, and he was just in complete utter disarray. And you could tell that this was really weighing on him heavy, that he was losing sleep, that he was like, he knew the gig was up. And now he's reached the spot where he's like still supposedly going to work every day at Bungie with this situation going on. Bungie can't have that. They can't, this guy cannot be tied to the project. He can't, after what just happened. There needs to be a fall guy. If it was not him, he needs to be the fall guy anyways. Again, based off of the information I've seen, I stipulate and postulate that potentially it was him, but we have no way of knowing that. It's just all signs point to, if it wasn't him, he definitely should have known something. And either way, he failed at his position horribly. Like, there's no way what happened should ever happen anywhere. Draco says he is a thief. I agree. But anyway, I'll leave that one there. I just thought it was interesting because we have some conflicting and questioning posts, and I see videos being made now from people saying he's been fired. I'm like, I don't know. I'm not going to make a video saying he's fired yet, but this is certainly a curious update, and I'm sure there's another shoe to drop at some point. So anyway, I'll leave that there.